you guys think of the film? I'm surprised everybody in the front row survived. My name is Taylor Gonzalez. I host 50 Shades of Tay on YouTube. And again, to introduce them, we have director Dan Allen. Ooh. And you guys, straight from his honeymoon, we have cinematographer Vince Knight. Congratulations again.
This is his second honeymoon.
His second honeymoon.
Because he's been taking me around LA, so I've been his companion for
It's been
his
very
second
romantic.
honeymoon. Yes. Yeah.
Where have you guys gone so far?
We did the Grove, we went up to the observatory, we went around West Hollywood. We did,
I've done Universal twice. I haven't even been here a week.
Oh, that is so fun.
But they said you can go back again with the same ticket, and I was like, don't mind if I do.
Did you see Shrek?
No, I didn't see Shrek, unfortunately.
Well, if you see him, tell him I said hi. Tell him I said what's up.
Okay.
So I have to ask the two of you, I know you guys have seen this film several times working on it, but what is it like to get to see it in a sold out auditorium with a large crowd like this?
amazing. I mean, for me, I haven't actually properly watched the film because when we're in post, we're so concentrating on everything that's wrong with the film and all the little bits, and we don't really sit and watch it with. It's never with a finished mix or any music or anything. And because I did the color grade, so I'm sort of concentrating on all those shot by shot by shot. So the only time before this that I've actually watched it was when Dan and I put it on my TV just to do the commentary, and even that was with it muted, just us talking about the film. So this was the first time watching the film for me, and with an audience is just amazing.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the audio commentary when it comes out. It'll be on some of the DVDs or Blu-rays. We we were up till 6 a.m. trying to finish this grade because we were like, it's got to be done. It's got to this was the deadline. This was in January, and we were like, okay, we finished it. We'll put on the film and we'll do the audio commentary and review our glorious grade. And then within 2 minutes of watching it, doing the commentary, we start looking at each other like, oh my god, we've made so many terrible errors here.
Just problems everywhere.
Yeah. So another few hours to go. But that was because obviously when you export it, you got to proof it and stuff. So we were hoping that would double up as our proof, and it didn't because we had to then proof it again. But yeah, it was good fun.
Is there anything else that you guys can tease about the DVD and the Blu-ray, like any other bonus features?
There's definitely some deleted scenes. So there's a bit more about some of the other characters. So in an effort to try and make it a streamlined sort of roller coaster where you follow sort of Benji and Zana, you've lost a little bit of some of the supporting characters in the family and building up a little bit more of their backstories. So that'll be on the DVD and Blu-ray as well.
So while you guys were in the theater tonight watching the film with everybody, was there anything that surprised you that got a reaction that maybe you weren't expecting a cheer for, or you weren't expecting people to get scared of?
I mean, for me, I enjoyed how much people enjoyed the deaths because obviously it is quite a serious film, but at the same time, it's really fun, isn't it? The rabbits killing the guy and everything. So I think those kind of hit a little bit harder than I expected, but I love that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the reaction. So no, thank you.
Well, I know the two of you have collaborated together on several other films, most recently Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. But how did the two of you meet?
Well, I was attached to Bambi when Reese was going to direct it, or Scott. Scott was going to direct it, and then Scott then decided to work on Peter Pan. He's like, I'm going to give Bambi to Dan. So Dan kind of just got forced into using me, really. But we'd actually talked before, years ago, about a project to do, and we...
Yeah, I tried to get Vince on one of my short films, and it was actually quite hard to get hold of him. But no, I was on set of Blood and Honey 2, which Vince was on, but I already knew I was going to be doing Bambi at that point, so it was really cool because I could be on set and I could sort of see the things that Vince and his wonderful team could do really, really well. But then I could also see the things I'm like, okay, they lost quite a bit of time there when they tried to do that kind of shot. And I knew that we had 15 days to shoot this, which for anyone that's shot a feature is a crazy few amount of days. So I knew that every second was going to count. So we did everything we could to streamline it and make sure that we could nothing would stop us filming, basically. We just keep, apart from child licensing laws. But everything else, we just wanted to go.
Well, one of my favorite thing about all these films in the Poohniverse is how they all tie in together. And I didn't tell you I was going to bring this up, but this is not the first appearance of Bambi in the Poohniverse. In Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
Oh yeah.
If you're paying close attention, there's a little cameo with you if you want to just tell people about that in case they haven't seen that part yet.
Yeah, there's actually a bigger story that goes with this as well. So it's the opening shot of Peter Pan. Well, yeah, it's the opening shot after you've seen Peter with the boy in the book. But the shot of the circus, where you're sort of pushing towards the circus, eagle-eyed viewers like Tay have noticed that I am dressed as Bambi, and Reese, who directed Pooh, is dressed as Pooh. And
With face paint.
With face paint and everything, and he is riding me just like the poster for the Poohniverse. But bonus story is there were loads of kids on set that day, and with child licensing, they can do an inspection at a moment's notice.
This is by the local council, by the way. So
yeah, local council in the UK, they can turn up to make sure that you're following all the legal guidelines, and all the kids are supervised, they have their own separate space and all this stuff, and there's always an assigned person that has to be the designated in charge of looking after the kids, and Reese had put himself down for that day. So, and the council did a surprise inspection. So I have seared into the back of my mind this beautiful image of Reese, face done as Winnie the Pooh, having the most serious conversation with these two old ladies with
he has his
clipboard.
hair up in little like pigtails.
And he has to convince them that the kids are absolutely safe, they're in good hands, and this guy pretending to be an adult whilst absolutely dressed as Winnie the Pooh. But yeah, it was a great day. It was a great day.
That's like one of my favorite stories. Scott told me that story, and then at every Q&A I hosted for Neverland Nightmare, I made them tell that story. It was so funny. So with all of the characters that are out there from the fairy tales that are in public domain, when and how did you guys decide you were going to tackle Bambi?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Scott pretty early wanted to do it. I know it was top of his list from the start, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was always quite high. I mean, there's constantly floating around ideas. If you were to like walk through a Poohniverse sort of set, you'll constantly hear whispers of like, oh, what if we did this with this character, or what if we did with this character? So there's constantly sort of like brainstorming going on. But yeah, with Bambi, yeah, Scott mentioned it, and I think when it suddenly looked like obviously he wouldn't be able to do both films, because yeah, originally Scott was going to direct Bambi, he sort of got me on board. So there was already sort of the idea was there before I was, if that made sense, and then it was about me coming in and pitching what I would do differently with it.
What about making this a creature feature? Was there ever a point in the discussions early on where you were like, maybe we'll do this like we did with Blood and Honey and have it be humans in prosthetics, or was it always going to be a CGI deer?
Yeah, have you guys seen that like Saturday Night Live? Is it Saturday Night Live sketch?
Yeah, with the Rock.
Yeah, with the Rock. Yeah, no, that would have never been part of my pitch. Like it could have been cool, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
The thing with the Poohniverse that we're doing, that Scott and Reese and I have always pushed from the start, is that every film can be different, and obviously horror fans have different styles of things they want, and some people want the really sort of schlocky horror where it's very fun and camp and silly and girls screaming and stuff, and then the other people want something really straight and sort of sinister, and that's the Peter Pan is one side of it, and Winnie the Pooh is the other side of it, and Bambi's somewhere in the middle, isn't it? A bit more towards Peter Pan's side. And every film can be a different style, so I think that's what makes it fun. And they're all in the same universe, but yeah, we're kind of trying to hit the different sort of ideas. Yeah.
What were some of the inspirations when creating this specific story for Bambi?
Ooh, there's lots. I mean, the big one for me is Jurassic Park. I am the biggest Jurassic Park fan. I don't know if you can tell. So no, massive fan of Jurassic Park. The Ritual as well, which has a lovely sort of forest horror with a four-legged creature. That was a big influence. A couple of Ritual fans. So yeah, that was amazing. And The Host. Has anyone seen The Host? Yeah. So especially there's the shot where she's running around the corner in slow-mo, and you see the creature coming behind. Was sort of, I love that sequence in The Host. By the canal or whatever it is, the aqueduct, water duct. the river. But yeah, so the host is a big one as well.
I love the way that Bambi looks in this film. Can you guys talk a little bit about the collaboration process with you and the visual effects team when coming up with this specific look for Bambi?
Yeah, so a big question for the design is sort of, how deer do you go? Because it needs to be scary, it needs to be menacing in both silhouette form, but it still needs to be a deer as well. So it was a lot of sort of trial and error and scaling things up and back. We wanted it to feel mutated, but we didn't want it to feel like a zombie because it's not undead, it is alive, but it also needs to be ferocious and look like it's been through loads of battles. So yeah, as Stephanie Belgar is the sort of lead animator and also designer of the creature. So her and Ryan have their own company called Boiling Point Media, who did just the most amazing work on this with zero resources. And they had a team as well. But yeah, so it was a lot of collaboration between me, Scott Reese, and also Stephanie. Just to try and get the design working as well as possible and come up with cool, interesting things that might be useful for different moments in the film. So you sort of look at the moments you have and you're like, okay, well it needs to have some sharp, scary teeth for all those like good close-ups and stuff. But then it also needs to be able to emote as well. So yeah, lots of like different things like that that we want to.
I love the dead eye.
The dead eye as well, yeah. Although, do you remember the first time you saw that? You were like, it looks like the eye's not rendered. And I was like, no, it's blind in one eye.
It was just completely grey in one of the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so happy with how this turned out. And I know before the film, you guys mentioned the budget and how there's, all these other, this is the same opening weekend as Fantastic Four, which is nuts to me that this many people, thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting indie horror when there's a big film like that. There's another big budget film that came out earlier this year. I'll just say it rhymes with Death of a Unicorn. If you were to put the creature from Death of a Unicorn side by side with this, I would pick this any day. That is such a badass design. So when you first saw it, were you just blown away, or how did you react the very first time you got to see that?
You know what, there's so many stages to it. So, because you're blown away in little moments. There's little moments where you're like, oh, okay, this could really work. My biggest fear was, because I agreed to do it before I knew how good the VFX were going to be, my greatest fear was that the VFX might be like Birdemic. I don't know if anyone's seen Birdemic. And I was making something that I was pouring my heart into. Yeah, exactly. And the actors are reacting really powerfully, but then if you suddenly have these 2D looking deer running around, it's just not going to work. So yeah, I don't know. You know what? It was as much relief as it was excitement. The test shots we got them to do were the 2 shots that were in the teaser that came out with Blood and Honey 2 a while ago. So we did those, and the moment we saw those, I think we were like, okay, cool. We
him roaring on top of the car.
Yeah. We were like, we did it right. We copied the lighting from Jurassic Park 1. We were like, if we backlight and underlight everything, then that will sort of help the CGI. And we were like, if that can mean that the CGI from the 90s stands up today, then we hope that with less resources, VFX from today will stand up with that same logic.
So we talked a lot about the visual effects, but Scott Chambers also posted on his Instagram, which was really cool to see, a lot of the behind the scenes with the practical stuff you guys did, including the car rolling scene. Can you guys talk a little bit about some of the practical stuff that went into making this film?
Yeah, so we did allocate a bit of the budget to doing some things for real. The deer is completely CGI. All we had for that was we had a polystyrene green head made up, but they made the size completely wrong, didn't they?
No, we scaled it down 2 days before filming. We were like, Bambi's way too big. It's got to fit through way too many doors.
The head was probably about this big.
And the VFX guys were like, whatever you do as uses your stand-in on set, just make sure it's not bigger than the actual head is going to be. And we just got on these 2 massive heads made. And we were like, well, can't use those then? But we used them instead. I would run on set and puppet it. Somewhere is some footage that I'll try and release for you guys of me running around with this Bambi head, showing everyone what it's going to do. So we used that.
But then, so for the actual sort of stunt stuff, the car, we did have a stunt team come in and flip the car for real. So they had sort of pistons which sort of pop it, and And then we had a big roll rig, so we had the same, or another similar car mounted inside this massive tube that they could constantly roll on a motor, and we would sit inside with the camera. And that was very fun. I mean, the actors hated it, I loved it.
Yeah. Vince was all strapped in.
Yeah, I loved it, it was great.
So we had that for all the rotating for the crash, the upside down bit, and then we obviously had the ginormous explosion, which Tom, who played Benji, loved. But afterwards was like, I know you said it was going to be big, but that was like really big, and he couldn't even see it because obviously it happened behind him. He had to do his like cool action man walk away, explosion behind me moment, but he felt it. Oh my god! Like I don't know if you guys have ever been near an explosion that big, but you feel it in your chest, and
it was bigger than all of us expected. The stunt guys really like doubled it.
yeah, they doubled down.
Actually, this is pretty funny. You know where you can feel an explosion like that is at Universal. If you ride the tram, you get to see it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been, but it's very good. You guys should go to it.
So the majority of this film takes place at night. Can you guys talk about some of the difficulties with filming in the woods at night and how that affected everything?
Hell.
Yeah, it was painful. I asked, I think it was on Peter Pan or Pinocchio, I was asking people, I was like, guys, what's the worst set you've ever been on? Expecting them to tell me horror stories of like nightmare directors. And like one by one, they were just like, probably Bambi, you know? And I was like, what? They were like, no, nothing to do with you. Like, we had a great time, you know, the crew was lovely, but it was -3 in the winter in January, and it was night shoot, so for essentially 15, 16 days, we were just, up, and it was getting dark, and then when we were going to bed, the sun was maybe starting to rise a tiny bit, but yeah.
The thing with being in the dark is everything is so much harder and slower. Like, got to carry all the kit out into the woods, and there's mud, and there's water, and it was just miserable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it was like, where we needed to get stuff, it was too muddy and sloshy that we couldn't actually get the equipment there. But there, where we could get it, it was too frozen. So we had all these stunts, and like we wanted more people rolling around in mud, but the ground was literally like rock solid. So yeah, it was perpetual problems and stuff. And bless the lighting team that were having to get these lights sort of miles away to actually get it working. They had to even go way further than where we were filming, just so it could be a far enough distance away. But yeah, it was tough. It was cold, a lot of star jumps on set, and the actors as well. So I told them all one by one as they agreed to do the project. I was like, don't worry, we're writing coats into the film. You guys are going to be wearing coats the entire time. And you see, you're never going to be cold. It's going to be fine. And then day one on set, we sort of take a look at the first shot. And I sort of look at Scott and I'm like, I don't think they can wear coats. It looks rubbish. They look so bad.
I remember Roxanne had that big blue coat, didn't she?
The biggest coat, which she wore for one running scene, which is the scene we shot. And then we just sort of had to quietly go to everyone and we were like, guys, we're so sorry. We did tell you could wear a coat, but take a look at this footage. And everyone understood. They were like, we can't wear coats. It looks too lame for a horror film if everyone's running around in puffer jackets. It was just like Bambi versus the North Face.
So if there's a sequel, what you're telling me is Bambi's going to visit the beach between the hours of noon and 5 p.m.
Me and Reese were joking so much. I would sit down with Reese and I'd pitch my ideas. I'm like, what about the indoor man? He never goes outside. And then Reese was like, what about the indoor daylight man? Which is our new idea for a horror film that only can take place during the day on a warm summer's evening. And is preferably indoors as well. So you've got no elements to compete with. But yeah, it wouldn't be any fun though, would it?
I love it. I also loved the appearance of Thumper. How did that come about?
I don't know. I think it was just in there from the start. To be honest, it felt like it would have been. I mean, it would have been a nightmare. Well, not a nightmare. It would have been awful to not have them. I feel like you'd be hoping the whole time, and then nothing would happen, and then yeah. So it was just about finding the best moment for him, and then we had the nice idea of bringing him back at the end, which just felt like the perfect thing to do. But yeah, originally he wasn't going to come back, him and his mates, but yeah, we thought we had to bring him in for one last hurrah.
We do have some time for some audience questions. If anybody out there has a question, yes, go ahead.
So I know you're currently doing movies right now, but would you or like Scott and Race be interested in like writing novels or comics set in the Twisted Childhood universe?
Well, I know Reese loves anime and that sort of stuff, and he would love to do that. But I mean, I don't know if there's any plans to.
Yeah, I don't think there's plans, and it's purely a time thing. You know, it's a time and sort of resources thing. I think I think that'd be awesome, really, to have that to sort of keep expanding the world and everything would be really cool. And then you can tell more stories, and then you end up with more backstory that sort of adds to the lore, and I think then can enrich that experience of when people are actually in the cinema. I don't know about you guys, I'm really into like Star Wars lore, which I think they threw in the bin at one point when they went to Disney, which was a shame. So but that can really enrich the experience. I think it'd be really cool if that happened in the Poohniverse as well.
Dan, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Oh no, I don't know. That's a lot of pressure on the spot, isn't it? Favorite Star Wars character. The Last Jedi. I'm joking. It's not even a character. I don't know.
Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Vince, what about you?
Don't like Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the last movie that Vince works on. Any cinematographers in the audience? Anybody else have a question? Yes, go ahead.
How close are all the characters from the Winnie the Pooh movies and Peter Pan compared to the Bambi? Are they all within 50 miles, or are they gonna meet up soon?
So it is geographically close. I mean, yeah, I probably would say around 50 miles. Well, because it's the town next door, isn't it? That's what we kind of said.
Yeah, it's the town next door. Yeah, at one point we were going to try and squeeze in, and we were going to try and make it the 100-acre wood as well, but it was.
It seemed like a really bad luck for that town, didn't it?
Yeah. So we like that they're neighbours rather than sort of on each other's immediate doorsteps, if that makes sense. So we're trying to fill it with as many references as possible. There's a few Easter eggs in there. I don't know if you guys saw some of them. There's a particular mention to the Darling family as well, which is in there. So yeah, all neighbours, but yeah, not in the same forest.
All right, I think we have time for one more question. Yes, go ahead.
Was Flower the skunk ever part of the script?
No, sadly not. But this is the thing. I mean, in the same way that you got Rabbit or Roo rather in Winnie the Pooh, there's loads of characters to potentially pull from. So I think
the sequel.
The sequel.
At the beach.
Yeah.
Beach.
We don't have
Bambi abroad.
skunks in the UK. So my reference to Flower was the rabid badger. I don't know if you guys saw, which is the closest we've got to Flower in the UK. So maybe Flower will be a badger, or maybe Flower will be in some other form in Monsters Assemble.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for coming out on a Saturday night.
Thank you.
The best way you can help this film is if you have social media, if you have Instagram, Tinder, OnlyFans, anything like that. You can just spread. I heard 2 Tinder notifications when I was sitting in the back. If you could just spread the word, and also if you have Letterboxd, anything like that, just rate it. Tell people, come support indie horror so we can get more films like this at the beach with skunks.
Yeah, 100%, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, these films happen because of you guys supporting the film. So yeah, thank you. Honestly, it means the world, and it's so great to be here. I know I speak for both of us, to be here and to chat with you guys and share this experience. So,
We'll be around, so come chat.
Yeah, and come get a poster and you can get it signed. But yeah, thank you guys again for coming out. We really appreciate it.